Sometimes, captivity becomes so old that it stops feeling like captivity. And sometimes, freedom becomes so lonely, it starts feeling like death. These thoughts had been echoing in the heart of a Jinn who had been imprisoned for centuries in a glass palace deep beneath the sea. No one could hear her voice. No one could see her. Time itself had stopped for her. Hope had become nothing more than a dream that came only once every 100 years, tied to the arrival of a human with a heart pure enough to set her free. This story begins with Iyaz, a poor fisherman. Every day, before sunrise, he would sail his small, broken boat into the ocean, cast his net, and return empty-handed by evening. His world was very small: an old mother, a broken boat, and the sea, from which he begged not just for his living, but sometimes for answers. Iyaz's father had died when he was a child. His mother had raised him with great difficulty. She often told him, "Iyaz, never underestimate the sea. It holds secrets of centuries. Sometimes, it returns things you never asked for. And sometimes, it takes away everything you hold dear." That day too, Iyaz was alone in the ocean. The sky was covered in dark clouds, but he cast his net anyway. A strange restlessness stirred in his heart, as if something new was about to happen. By afternoon, he started pulling the net back in. It was unusually heavy, as if a treasure was caught inside. He was drenched in sweat, but he didn't give up. When the net came up, it held no fish, no gold, but a strange blue, glowing stone, crystal clear, as if a tiny world was trapped inside it. The moment Iyaz held that stone in his hand, his boat began to shake. The sky turned black, the water grew darker, and the boat started being pulled by an unseen force. Iyaz closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he was in another world. It was a magical world beneath the water, yet he could breathe. The sky was blue, veiled in a faint mist. In front of him stood a palace of glass walls, doors, everything made of transparent crystal. There was light everywhere, yet no sun in sight. The atmosphere was silent, but felt alive. Iyaz stood there, awestruck. Iyaz slowly stepped forward. As soon as he touched the door of the palace, it opened on its own. What he saw inside was like a dream. Everything was glowing, yet empty. Suddenly, a voice called out, soft, frightened, and incredibly beautiful. "Who are you?" Iyaz turned around. There she stood, neither human nor fairy. She was a Jinn, tall, with milky white skin, deep blue eyes, and cloud-like flowing garments. Her presence radiated a divine light, but her eyes carried the weariness of centuries. Iyaz, a fisherman? Who are you? "I am Nayla, daughter of the queen of the Jinn," she whispered, "and this is my prison." Iyaz looked around in amazement. A prison? So much beauty, so much peace. This is a prison. Nayla's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, a beautiful trap. A cruel sorcerer created this for me. I am his proof of power. He took me the moment I refused to marry him. Then he imprisoned me in this glass palace and threw it to the bottom of the ocean so that no one could see me. Or hear me again." Iyaz asked, "Can no one free you?" "Once every 100 years, a pure-hearted human reaches the blue stone. If he truly wishes to set me free from his heart, and is ready to sacrifice his life, only then can I be freed. But so far, none have survived. All died." Iyaz looked into her eyes, then silently stepped closer. "Then let me be the first, either the one who frees you, or the one who remains imprisoned with you." Nayla gasped. For the first time, she saw in a man's eyes the same light that once lived inside her. It was, "You don't understand. You're in terrible danger. That sorcerer, he is death. He possesses every power. If he finds out you're here, he'll destroy you." Iyaz smiled gently. I live every day at the mercy of the sea. If my life can buy your freedom, then what good is it, if I keep it for myself?" Just then, the walls of the palace began to shake. A loud noise rang out, and a shadow descended from the ceiling made of black smoke, with red glowing eyes, and a booming, terrifying laughter. "So, another fool has arrived. You think you can save her, Nayla? You still don't understand. You will always belong to me." Nayla shouted, "Iya, run, he'll kill you." But Iya stood tall and said, "I will not run. Leaving you alone, ... is not in my power." The sorcerer's laughter grew louder, then prepared to die. And for the first time, a human dared to stand against a Jinn's captor for her freedom. But this was only the beginning. The real prison, the true trial, and the actual war was just about to begin. Eos's heart pounded violently, but he did not move an inch. He stepped in front of Nayla and stared straight into the sorcerer's burning red eyes. The sorcerer's form was still unclear, like a mixture of smoke, shadow, fire, and poison, a shape so horrifying that it could steal one's breath. His voice was like nails scratching over rusted iron. A new life, a new spirit, ... but death is always the same. He thundered, "Do you really think, human, that love can unlock a prison?" Iaz replied, "Love is that power, the one thing strong enough to defeat you, no matter how powerful you are. You can never imprison a heart." The smoke around the sorcerer turned green, like a venomous aura wrapping around him. He raised his hand, and the glass palace began to shake violently. Nayla screamed in fear, "Eos, stop. You don't know his power. He destroyed my entire race. What can you do?" But Eos took another step forward. "I'm a human, and perhaps that's what hurts him the most." At that moment, the sorcerer raised both his hands, and flames began to rain down from the ceiling. Nayla screamed and fell to the ground, but Eos spread his arms around her, protecting her. The flames vanished the moment they touched his aura. The sorcerer's face contorted with rage. He drew a symbol on the floor with his finger, and instantly, the ground split open. A deep, dark pit appeared, and in the blink of an eye, Eos and Nayla fell into it. Now they were in a new place, a dark, damp prison with walls of black stone, filthy floors, and a rotten stench in the air. Dim oil lamps flickered like they were taking their last breaths. Eos helped Nayla up. "Are you all right?" Nayla, in a trembling voice, said, "This is the real prison, where all those Jinn girls were locked away. Those who dared to stand against the sorcerer, none survived." She looked into his eyes. "But you, why did you come here? What are you to me?" Eos paused, tears welled up in his eyes. "Nayla, I don't know who you truly are, ... or how your world works, but the moment I saw you, it felt like I was looking at someone who belonged to me, and if I had seen you suffering, and remained silent, I would be a coward, and I am not a coward." "Nayla." She went silent. She turned her face away and hid her tears, but for the first time, her heart began to beat at the sound of Ayas's voice. Both of them started searching for a way in the darkness. On one side were blood-stained stones, on the other side groans and sobs. Nayla said in a low voice, "He's not just a magician, he's a demonic spirit. His power is weakest when the full moon is out, and that time is 3 days from now. If we stay alive until then, maybe you can set me free." Ayaz smiled. "Then you'll have to spend 3 days with me, and you don't even know how boring I am." Nayla looked at him and smiled faintly for the first time. That smile had returned to her face after a whole century, but they didn't. Nathan the magician hadn't left them alone. He had left his shadows in every corner of the prison, such shadows that could hear voices, count breaths, and find paths through the beating of a heart. That same night, when both were sitting tired in a corner, a shadow slowly began approaching them. Ayaz held Nayla's hand and said, If something happens, promise me you won't give up. Nayla softly said, when you're with me, even thinking of giving up feels like a sin. Suddenly, a horrifying face came out of the wall, eyes hollow, mouth slashed, and sharp weapons in its hands. These were the magician's guardians, the shadow Jinn, who continued to serve him even after death. Ayaz picked up a piece of wood from the ground. Let's see how much you can be cut. The Jinn pounced on Ayaz, and Ayaz attacked it with full strength. Nayla recited a prayer from her knowledge, which made the shadow scream and fall back. But it was only one of them. The remaining shadows were now coming from all directions. Ayaz and Nayla saw a small passage near the wall and started running. From behind, the shadows were shrieking, and now the prison had become a battlefield of fear. Ayaz pushed Nayla through a narrow door, and then followed behind. The door shut, and both of them found themselves in a new place. It was a lost garden, a magical place in the very middle of the prison. Lush green trees, the fragrance of flowers, and a calm lake, as if even in a world of captivity, some goodness had been hidden. Nayla said, "This garden was made by my father when he too was imprisoned here. Because of his prayers, this playhouse remained protected till today." Ayaz asked in amazement, "Then, you are the daughter of the king of the jinns?" Nayla softly said, "Yes. But today I am just a prisoner who dreams of her release." Ayaz held her hand and said, "You are no longer alone." By the lakeside, both of them sat in silence for a long time. Between darkness and light, there was a strange peace, as if fatigue, fear, and sacrifice had all merged into a prayer. But now there was little time. 3 days had now turned into 2, and the sorcerer had realized thought Nayla's imprisonment was in danger. Now Ayaz and Nayla had to do something that no one had ever done before, and this decision had to be made the following night. The shadows of the night had deepened further inside the sorcerer's prison. Time now felt more precious than each breath. Ayaz and Nayla were sitting in that hidden garden where only their silence, their pain, and those prayers remained, the kind that cannot be expressed in words. The lake's water felt cold and ineffective, as if it too knew thought in the morning. A decision would be made. Thought would either give Nayla freedom or take Ayaz away forever. Nayla looked toward Ayaz. There was exhaustion on his face, sleep in his eyes, and wounds on his body. Yet there was a strange peace, the kind that only comes from love. Nayla said, "Ayaz, if something happens to you tomorrow, will you be angry with me for pulling you into my world?" Ayaz smiled, held her hand, and gently said, "Nayla, even if my life ends here, I would still want my last moment to be spent for you. I've never done anything in life that was worth remembering, but fighting for you, that's my greatest identity." Tears flowed from Nayla's eyes. For the first time, she said from the heart, "I never believed it that humans could be so beautiful. You have given me that belief, Ayaz, and I will never forget." It was as if the night had paused, as if time itself had stopped breathing. In the morning, when the sun rose, Nayla took out an old book hidden in the garden made by her father, a book of Jinn prayers and magical verses. Inside it was a verse could only be read one. True love surpasses sacrifice, and its effect only works one. The one reading it has already lost a true lover. With a trembling voice, Nayla said, "Ayaz, if the sorcerer attacks you and something happens to you, then this verse will connect me to you. Even if you no longer live in this world, your love will remain alive in my soul." Ayaz laughed and said, "If I have to die, then at least let me turn into a beautiful prayer. I will die as soon as the sun of the 3rd day rose." The palace of glass began to tremble. The prison was drowned in darkness, and on every wall, the sorcerer's eyes began to appear. His voice echoed, "Nayla, you have shamed your kind by falling in love with a human. Now time is over." In the center of the garden, a black cloud descended, and the sorcerer appeared in his complete form, along with hundreds of shadows. Those faceless jinn, and mist-like currents in the air. Ayaz held Nayla's hand tightly and stood up. It's time to set Nayla free. Nayla didn't stop him, but said softly, Ayaz, don't go alone. Ayaz looked into her eyes just once, and only said, for you, anything. He walked toward the sorcerer. In his hand was just a simple iron spear, a human's final weapon, but in his heart was the kind of belief that could move mountains. The sorcerer laughed. You are just a human, and I have imprisoned for centuries. Do you really think you will win? Ayaz shouted. I didn't come to win, I came to defeat you. He ran toward the sorcerer and stabbed the spear into his chest. A thunderous explosion followed. The sky began to rip apart. The palace pillars shook violently. The sorcerer screamed, your love, your sacrifice, it is all momentary, but I will live forever. Ayaz's blood was flowing, but on his face a smile. He looked at Nayla one last time. She was crying from a distance. Nayla, you are free now. And then Ayaz took his last breath and closed his eyes. At that very moment, the sorcerer's power began to melt. His shadows started to burn. The prison began to collapse, and the palace of glass sank into the earth. Nayla ran to lifted his head in her lap, and with teary eyes, read the prayer written on the last page of the book. O Almighty, if love is true, if the sacrifice of the heart is in your will, then let the one who does not vanish, but remain as a soul, forever. Near. A light descended from the sky. Ayaz's body began to glow, and slowly, his eyes opened. Nayla cried out in disbelief. Ayaz, with a faint smile said, looks like you've brought me back to life. Nayla hugged him to her chest, and in that moment, the entire world seemed to pause. No fear, no prison, only love and prayer. The sorcerer was gone. Love was free. Ayaz and Nayla walked to the shore where they were once imprisoned. Now there was only light, peace, and each other's presence, and the world that was once only a dream had now become their reality.